is not this way or no way. There are always several ways. So you just have to find yours.
Hello, high achiever. Welcome to the Inside Job Journey podcast. I'm Daniela, a certified professional coach. I work with highly effective and driven people that are always striving for more, helping them define what that more is and learning what they really want. In this podcast, I want to bring you on a discovery journey where you can learn more about what's driving you to never settle. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Inside Job Journey podcast. Today I have with me again my co-founder, amazing mindset coach, Dana Girniceanu. Welcome to today's episode, Dana.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me here again. Hello, everyone.
It's really a pleasure to have someone to talk to that I know very well and that it's so easy to discuss topics with. And we were just chatting before we started recording around the post that I just did in terms of not having time, it's bullshit. And so we were a little bit going back and forth on the idea of time and the idea of need to prioritize, especially in this period of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that I am one of those people that was believing that there is never enough time for everything. I tend to believe that I am a very busy person, and professionally, but then personally as well. I like to do things. And of course, when you have so many things on your plate, the quickest and the easiest and the most comfortable answer or excuse is that you don't have time. So then you tend to leave a lot of things on pending. And at least to me, what is happening is that I normally leave myself on pending. So I prioritize everything else. And then whatever, I don't know, like from something very simple as going to the gym. And it's something that normally should make me feel fine. But when I have so many things, it's like, okay, I'm not going to go to the gym. I prefer to whatever, send another email or do another podcast or write something new for my next week work.
Amazing. You just called yourself out and not going to the gym. I love it. Yes, the point is that we have this conception of time that it's limited, and it's true. But if we look deep down, what we are doing, there are many things that are taking up our time that are not helping us and are not aligned with who we want to be. So if I think about my time, of course, I spend a lot of time doing things like just watching stupid series on Netflix. I know that that's not bad per se, because of course I need time to decompress and do these things. So I'm not judging anyone that is spending time on that. But it's understanding how much time I want to spend on that and how much time I want to invest in other things.
Absolutely. And I pick there on what you were saying, Tiana, about having time to decompress, no? And I completely agree with it. And I think that the key as well is to understand what is needed for us. How do I actually decompress, no? Because sometimes, well, maybe Netflix, you spend so much time on Netflix because you think that this is something that is releasing you of the stress and relaxing you. But then when you finish with, I don't know, 3 hours of series, and then you see that you are not fine, the question is not, or at least I'm not asking myself the question, was it what I actually needed? And for me, for example, I spend a lot of time worrying for what is coming and for the things that I have to do. So I worry so much and I worry so much and I worry so much until I get to the point that I'm blocked. And then it's like, well, I spend the time blocked, worried, maybe watching 5 episodes in Netflix when I could have watched 3. and for the rest to go to the gym actually or have a walk and properly relax and release. So I believe that the key here is for each one of us to understand what is working for us, and then like instead of making the excuse, to have a chat with ourselves, to make some reflections and to look what is actually suitable and then move on.
And then like how you put that out, have a talk with yourself and just be honest about it. You may need time to just do nothing and chill, but it's really understanding how much time and how much you want to allow yourself to have that, and how much time you want to have things that are really important to you instead. So for example, one thing that I'm recently doing, I'm doing my workout while watching Netflix. So I don't have an excuse. I'm watching Netflix, I'm enjoying myself, but I'm also doing the workout. And I've been pretty steady in the sense of I try to do it daily. It's just a small exercise. It's just one episode, but it means so much because I don't feel guilty about that episode. I feel good that I'm sticking to my habits, even when I have zero like energy or zero motivation to do it, right?
Mm-hmm. And I also think that the key is to listen to your body and to decide when to do what is working for you. Because, for example, for me, I got to believe that the weekends are because I'm coming overwhelmed after the week. It's just Netflix and sofa, but it's because I kind of created a habit out of it. And sometimes it's not what I need. Sometimes it's something that energizes me, and just staying in the sofa is not necessarily energizing. So for one day in the weekend, or maybe for some specific weekend, this is working, but for the next one is not working. But I kind of created a habit out of it, and instead of listening to my body, I'm applying the same pattern all over again. So the key is when, and I do have moments when, doing nothing almost a whole day long and sleeping, it's something absolutely perfect for me, but doesn't have to be like this every weekend. I don't necessarily feel it constantly.
Yes, when it's so important to just not give up our power to choose. Because you say it becomes an habit, you are in a cycle and it feels comfortable because you are used to it, and your body automatically somehow goes and does the thing that you are used to. But if we really make the choice, we consciously decide to do something, it's very different. So pausing and asking ourselves, what do I need? What can help me going forward? I think that's a critical aspect.
Yeah, having different healthy habits, I think it's the key, because most of the times when we create one, we hang on that one, but then we evolve as people, and our bodies are evolving, and our needs are evolving, and the things that make us happy also change. Like when you repeatedly and constantly do just the same thing, I think it may also get the opposite effect, no? To become something that you don't enjoy anymore, and at some point becoming even toxic for yourself. So it's just putting things in perspective, and it's not this way or no way. There are always several ways. So you just have to find yours. This is something that I discovered with myself. So
Yes. It is about starting small with one thing, but then understand that there is no right or wrong, and just try different things. Experiment with what works. Really be playful and curious about what works with you. and just try to keep up. And going back to the question of time, I think that one of the things is first understanding where you spend your time. So making a list during the day and saying, I'm spending XYZ time in working, I spend XYZ time in cooking, I spend XYZ time in this and that, and just then analyzing it and saying, this amount of time was productive, was aligned with what I want to do. This time was more not aligned with who I want to be, and do I need to reduce it? Do I need to manage it differently? How do I tweak and change the things that I'm doing so that that time that we want so badly to do the things for ourselves can be created?
Absolutely. And I would add to everything that you have been saying now, something that is really working for me. What I try is in the morning before going to work, for example, because my brain is fresher and the busyness of the day has not started yet. So I take 5 minutes just to make a list of all the things that I need to do on that day, but categorize them into top priorities that yes or yes, these 2, 3, 4 things I have to do today. And the rest are something that are second priority. If I manage to do it perfectly, if I don't, I don't, because one thing that is stressing me out to have a long list of so many things that I have to do, and then life happens during the day, and I may not get to prioritize what is actually important, and then I have the feeling that I didn't reach to finish everything I have to do, and this is stressing me out. But when you do it the opposite, and you know, like, well, I choose these 2 things are mandatory for today, then you feel different because you already assume that there may happen for you not to finish everything that is on your list.
Yes, I have a different morning routine, and it's, of course, it starts with gratitude because I needed to do that, and it's been 2 years, and every day it's harder to write what I'm grateful about, and sometimes it's repetitive, but it reminds me, you know, that there are things that to be grateful in any given day. And the second thing that I do is to pick just one thing that I want to do for myself and one thing that I want to do for my dream. So it's just one thing. It may be as small as writing an email or just as small as taking a bath, you know, taking that time. And there have been plenty of days where I said something like, I will work out, and I didn't. And I think the key is also being really kind to myself and just deciding there is one thing, it's really important that I do it, but even if I don't do it, tomorrow is another day. I don't have to feel guilty. I don't have to drag myself for not doing it. I just need to today be more accountable.
Oh my God, that is so nice. I'm going to pick up on that. I think it's something that would be useful for me as well to apply.
Yeah, especially I think that it's easy to think about your to-do list, as you said, for the things that you need to do. But what about the things that you want to do? Going back to what you need and what it's important to you, and taking care of yourself and finding time for yourself.
Very nice. Tomorrow my list is going to look different for sure.
And it's ever evolving. I think that journaling, it's one of those things that you can use in many different ways. And it's a tool that I recommend every time I speak with someone, because it can be really many different things. You can journal about your dreams. You can journal about the good things that you have done. So it can be like a tool that you use to realize how much you have done at the end of the day. There are many uses for journaling, and you can tweak and adjust as you evolve, because it's back to evolving and changing as a person and finding things that work for you in the specific moment where you are and with what you need in that moment.
Yeah, I'm reinforcing this point because journaling is also something I discovered not long time ago. And nowadays I do it just a couple of or maximum 3 times a week. But what I'm noticing is that indeed it has the effect that you are saying, and it's extremely helpful. So maybe it's just starting small from there instead of doing it 3 times per week. Now I can go to the next step and doing it 4 and then 5 and then getting to do it every day.
And to be honest, the last 2 years have been the most focused they have ever been. So I've been working on different things. I've been working on my dream. I've been working in my job. I had the opportunity to learn new things and to even be promoted a couple of times. So it has been like an opportunity for myself to grow through reflection and becoming better thanks to that practice. So what are some of the other things that you have as a tool to keep yourself in check, to make sure that you have time and that you are prioritizing?
Well, what I also tried, and it was working for me, is to set alarms, like 3 alarms during the day, and just to pause for a minute and then do a check-in with me, because I think that now life and society is more rushing than ever. We have more stimulus than ever. And what I have been realizing with myself, that during the day, especially during the working days, there are moments that I don't even stop to breathe. Even in the lunchtime, I'm constantly with my phone. So then I'm arriving home and I'm so extremely exhausted. And in part, I'm responsible for that exhaustment as well. And of course, when you arrive at the end of the day, it's like, even if you have 2 or 3 more hours, you don't have more energy for anything. So stopping during the day and breathing a little bit and putting things into perspective was something that was really helpful for me. And in the beginning was complicated. So in the beginning, because one thing is to plan and another thing is to execute, I needed to get an accountability partner. So one of my coaches with which I was doing session was checking on me during the day, just to make sure that I'm actually stopping and pausing, because it's different when you have an interaction with a human being, and it's something else when, well, you have an alarm on your phone that is as easy as putting it on snooze. But it was helping me.
I have this image of your alarm going off during a meeting and you're like, sorry guys, I need a moment to breathe. Be right back.
Well, at least I hope would have been that, but no, because I had it on my personal phone, which was on silent on my desk. So most of the times I was not even seeing it. That's why it's important an accountability partner, because at least keeps you on track. And yeah, it helps you somehow to create these healthy habits. And until you get to the point that you don't even need an alarm and you don't even need anyone to remind you, and you just do it whenever you feel, because you feel it, you know how it was when you were doing it, and you see the difference of when you are not doing it. So then you're just correcting yourself.
Yes, so having some sort of timely self-check-in during the day to understand where you are and just breathe and taking time. And there was something that you say, the energy, managing the energy. You said it's not just about managing time, because you may have the time, but you may not have the energy. So I think a key aspect here is to learn how to manage your energy and not just your time. scheduling time to just think, scheduling time to breathe, to maybe do a 5 minutes breathing exercise. Well, 5 minutes of breathing exercise, it's long for people like me, but maybe 2 minutes. Just having those activities that gives us a little bit of space. That's the word I was looking for. That give us space to recover and be able to go ahead and do more. And of course, there are many techniques. There is the Pomodoro techniques if you're focused on something specific, but even 25 minutes, just focused work can be more impactful than 3 or 4 hours of constantly being interrupted and doing things as multitasking as we are usually.
Yeah, that is actually a very good point that you put it on the table, because again, there is not one way. There are different ways, and we are always focusing on what is missing. And when we are in this scenario, there is always time missing, no? And we use this as an excuse because it's the easiest one, instead of actually looking around and analyzing our day and how we behave and what could have been improved from the day, because the key is there. And look, in my case, it's about energy, but in other people's case, maybe it's about organization to gain time, or maybe it's about understanding how to prioritize, or I don't know. There are always different ways.
Yes, and different things that you may need depending on what it is that you are trying to do. If you're trying to find time for your own activities, you may need to focus on something. If you are trying to be more effective at work, it can be something else. So it's really about being open and curious about the opportunities, and really just asking yourself those questions to get you to understand what you really need. I think that's the key message of this episode, really checking in with yourself and understanding what you need and planning around that.
Absolutely. And thank you for all these inputs. I'm taking away many things that I'm going to start applying now.
Try to pick just one thing.
One thing at a time. I'm going to have them written down, and then I'm going to go one by one. Okay, today I'm going to apply this. Tomorrow I'm going to apply this and see what is actually working best for me. But I think it was great to have different perspective on the same things. And I would add this as well to the tool list, no? Because sometimes when you see things only from your own perspective, it's always going to have the same result. But then when you confront with someone else, it's just giving you a different point over the same situation. So, well, thank you for this. It was helping.
Thanks to you. And just for our listeners, remember to check in with someone else other than yourself to get that external perspective, to hear the feedback, or just brainstorm some ideas, because we talked about an accountability partner earlier. It can be a community, it can be your mentor, your coach, it can be someone that you trust, a partner, kids, I don't know, parents, friend. You see how social I am. Friend was the last thing that I mentioned. But yes, don't stay in your mind too much, and try to get that external point of view too, so that you can have a broader picture of yourself and what you need. Thank you, Dana. It was a pleasure to have you today.
Thank you so much. The pleasure was mine.
This episode is over. However, you can like, subscribe, and follow for more content.